Hello, this is Shanna Smith, and today we'll be talking about leadership styles and ethics for EDL 852 Module 3. Characteristics of a great leader include the ability to collaborate with other leaders, stakeholders, and the community in order to make sure we're moving towards a collective focus. We want to make sure that we are all on the same page and supporting one another. Additional traits or characteristics would be courage, integrity, cooperation, humility, focus, empathy, ability to delegate, clear communication, um, the ability to understand the importance of a community, also to recognize and understand the emotions of oneself and understand that of others, the emotional intelligence level there. So basically, we'd want someone who's calm, grounded, and empathetic, or also someone who talks and walks the same thing. So they follow through on what they say they're going to do. So, on the leadership style quiz, it indicated that I am a diplomat style leader. I value interpersonal communication and harmony. I'm known to be there to help resolve conflicts peacefully, and I really do strive to be proactive and prevent as many of them as I can. Additionally, I also work to put people in positions where they are utilizing their strengths. I think this benefits them and our students. Also, I try to use this approach when helping them grow in an area that they're not so strong in. So I did find this very reflective of myself. Leadership compass assessment. So this one was a little different. I didn't agree with all of it. It indicated that I'm an empathetic leader, and I do hope I am an empathetic leader, but I'm also very analytical. So an empathetic leader strives on relationships, values input from staff, supports and encourages other staff members. I feel like I hope I do those things. Then additionally, the challenging part for an empathetic leader would be internalizing difficulties and assuming blame. That one is a challenge for me. It says having difficulty confronting and dealing with anger. I think I do a decent job at that, but I do think I could do better. So I those were some of the things that I found congruent with me. Maybe over compromising to avoid conflict. I don't know that I do that so much. And then immersed in the now. That analytical side of me doesn't really allow me to be too much immersed in the now. So some of this piece was accurate and some was not, but they did indicate that nobody's all one type of a leader or another. It just, I had the most marks for empathy as far as a leader goes. So I clicked the wrong button. I apologize. So I'm going to pop back over here and fast forward a second. I have had quite the time with Powtoons today. And so I'm at the point where I'm rolling with it. So here we go. The next section talks about 10 leadership theories, and I found this very interesting. I thought it was very similar to how we grow. The great man theory, you're born with it. I think a lot of people thought this with like academics, athletics, and now leadership. I do think some are born with great traits that are congruent with being a good leader. That doesn't necessarily mean they will be a good leader, but they're just inherently born with that. Then the trait theory and the skill theory, those are a collection of traits that were found to be beneficial or common among successful leaders. But again, none of those had like the perfect recipe. They were bits and pieces for this type of work and bits and pieces for this type of work. So still not a solid answer as to which way to go. The style theory of leadership focuses on different leadership styles, and if there's one that just all is overwhelmingly more successful or impactful than the others. It isn't for all situations. I kind of find myself being more the situational leader. I kind of mold myself into whatever situation has popped up. Sometimes I am the leader who's, really direct. Hey, this is what you need to do right now, and I need this by then. I try not to be that, but every once in a while, that's just how we have to be. Other times, I am in a situation and I maybe have a student who I'm trying to encourage, and I'm saying, hey, you know what do you think are good ideas? Which path, and kind of talk them through that and encourage that. So I'm more of a subtle leader at that point. Um, so there's many different things, and I also have to like to be that empowering person, and that kind of skips over the contingency theory. But the contingency theory really reflects changing the leader for the situation. And I can appreciate that with committees. I think changing a committee head every once in a while may be helpful, depending on what they're going to be working on. But changing the head of like a CEO of a company every time things change, I'm hopeful that a leader would be able to adapt. Changing the leader every time would be like changing the coach of a basketball team every time they lost a game. And I don't know that you get much headway that way. So, the transactional leader and the transformational leader were the next on the list. The transactional is I'm going to do things for the people that work for me, and in return, they're going to work really hard for me. And I do think I have a lot of staff that are great for me like that. But I really think that is more built on our relationship than I give them something, they give me something. So then the transformational leader, this is the superintendent that I have now. She has vision, she has grand ideas for the future, and we are working as a team to outline steps to get there. She's just makes you think of what's next. What are we going to do in a good way? So I really enjoy working for her, and I am going to strive to implement some of those characteristics within my leadership strategies. Leader member exchange, meaning I'm going to do this and I'm going to be really grateful. Thank you so much for doing that. And but then it becomes like an in group, like thank you for doing that. You kind of it almost seems kind of like you have a favorite or you have favorites, and you're kind of in or you're out. I think that encourages clickiness, and I think we have enough of that in the educational system as is. So I try to stay away from that one. And then the servant leadership theory, I most definitely hope, I don't know that I can say wholeheartedly that this is me, but I sincerely hope that the staff that I get to work with know that the majority of what I do is for their benefit. I sincerely care and feel that my job as a leader is to help them do the very best they can in their job. So hopefully that is reflected in our relationship. Ethical leadership, I have also noted, that really should be in my recipe over there. It's sprinkled throughout. I feel like it's a common sense thing. In order to be in education, I think you have to be an ethical person, but you do bring your own personal values into situations. But we have to reflect those of the institution that we're serving. And sometimes that can be a challenge, but we have to check ourselves and have conversations and move forward. So I really think there wasn't much focus in my education on ethical leadership, but I did have a counseling degree also. And so, excuse me. And so it was highlighted in that very often, many classes. So, when we're talking about ethical leadership, it really focuses on the standard. So, educational leaders promote the success of every student by acting and integrating fairness and in an ethical manner. We have got to make sure that we are modeling what we're expecting for others. There are many different ways to reflect ethical fairness all of these other features that when you're talking about ethics, you really have to take into consideration justice. Um, there's many areas that it's not just, oh, ethics. There's many levels of ethics. So we really have to make sure that we're checking ourselves and having conversations to make sure that we're looking from other perspectives. Excuse me. My leadership style, I would call it a coaching leadership style, but these would be the characteristics that I would highlight. I hope that I am encouraging a kind and ethical culture. And by encouraging, I mean I'm going to uphold that. And if we're not going to be ethical, we will have conversations. Collective and collectively having a strong relationship with staff. I really think that builds the educational community and environment, and hopefully makes people want to stay in that position. We want to have a collaborative culture. We want to be positive and strength focused. I am driven. I am goal oriented, but I'm also people oriented. So I'm engaged. I'm invested. I strive to be consistent, and I accountability. Although seems sometimes it seems difficult, it is important, and so I also focus on that. I left stay tuned on here because I feel like our leadership styles are always going to continue to grow, as I have just through this lesson. So I would definitely think collectively all of those together equal the coaching style that I discussed earlier. So my leadership style then also highlights some challenging areas for me. I do take most of, I assume, the blame because that's easier sometimes. So I need to learn to delegate more. I need to understand that it doesn't all have to be done right now. So basically, I need to be staying balanced. I think that's really important. I think that's an area I really could grow in. And then also some confidence when addressing conflict. I think those are always challenging situations that you want to try to navigate as fairly, ethically, and overall kindly as possible, understanding that we're all on the same page. I again left the stay tuned there because I do intend to grow and I hope I can improve in those areas quickly. So, standard correlation. This piece for me was about understanding how those styles, traits, and theories are important. And in reviewing those, I can definitely see how they have a strong impact on an educational environment. It's our responsibility to make sure that's a collaborative culture. So, we want to make sure that we're looking at things that are relevant as well. And in that, I think it's important to understand multiple approaches. This, what we learned this week, is applicable today. I can use that when working with students tomorrow. And with staff as well. And then when we're talking about our reflection, for the reflection, I would really say that I focused on looking at how I have certain traits now, but traits that I would like to have in the future. Leaders can make or break a school culture. So this really helped me identify what I need to be stronger in to do the best I can in serving the students and staff that I get to work with. So, and lastly is my references page. There you go. Thank you very much.